Hello! Hello everyone! I'm back! I am back from Fennoscandia, or Fennoscandia. Well, to be fair, I have been back in Belgium for most of the week, and the road trip technically ended over a week ago, but there was a weekend at the Nürburgring to follow it, not with the bike, obviously. Well, not obviously to say, but I was there with the car, with the bike on a trailer. Yeah, it has been a fantastic trip. Yeah, being back here, everything just seems flat and boring and not interesting compared to the sights that we saw in Finland and Norway. Yeah, the actual trip took us from Hamburg to a ferry, or took me actually, because most of the people had a unique travel route basically. Took me from Hamburg, on the bike that is, from Hamburg to a ferry that took me and two other guys to Helsinki. Then in Helsinki, or from Helsinki, we basically drove, or rode, well, most of them drove, I rode, because I was the only biker there. Drove near the Russian border, did part of a road called the Museum Road, or Museotie. From there we spent the night at someone's place, and the next day we went further into Finland, spent the night at some of the guys' parents' summer cottage, which was very nice. And so on and so forth. Basically throughout Finland we always stayed at a cottage, either at someone's home, summer place, or just a cottage we could rent rather than pitching a tent. And all of those places had sauna, so the Finns finally convinced me to try it out, and I like it. Yeah, thanks for moving out of the way, by the way. I did like it, the sauna, especially when there is a cold lake nearby, so you just get out of the hot sauna and into the really cold lake, which is usually about this cold. But yeah, that's fine. You know it's cold when one of the Finns jumps in and just yells, "Holy fucking shit!" That's when you know the water is really cold. So yeah, that was fun. To be fair, I have very good memories of Finland. It's where I feel that most of the bonds that lasted throughout the journey with the other guys and girls were created. Especially just, enjoying the midnight sun, because yes, it was still, the sun never really set at most of the points we were. Sitting out on a lake, on a bench, just like a pier that went out on a lake, on a bench with some, to be fair, shitty Finnish beer, and just sat there and drinking into the night. That I have very fond memories of that. National parks were beautiful. There were definitely some beautiful places there, but the scenery as you're driving along isn't really interesting. It's just a lot of trees and a lot of straight road. Just basically you come onto an intersection, it says okay, turn left, turn right, whatever, and then go straight for another 150 kilometers, and then the next instruction 150 kilometers down is take the roundabout and go straight over the roundabout and go straight for another 150 kilometers. And the road is really just straight. It goes up and down like this, but just like, like this, not actual, jumps or anything. It's just very smooth. It's basically kind of flat. And there are some bends, but they don't necessarily follow the contours of the country, because the country has very little contours, to be fair. Has to be said. So in that respect, Finland was kind of boring to drive through, or to ride through as well. It's just, we were basically covering distance trying to get to Norway, and the moment we crossed into Norway, we could see that immediately the landscape changed quite dramatically. It was also at that point, going through Finland, that I realized that my tires were fucked. I realized that about 2 days in, that I had made a mistake by not changing my tires before I left, and that I would need a change of tires quite soon. And I had to wait until Norway to get them. And by the time we were in Norway, the tire, especially the rear tire, had basically become slick. Which is, well, so let's just say I was very happy that for those final 3 days before I got the new tires, we didn't have a lot of rain. But not heavy rain anyway, because there was nothing on it. So yeah, we crossed into Norway. The scenery changed immediately, the roads changed immediately, there was a lot more swooping and things going on. The roads and the scenery just became a lot more interesting. Temperature dropped quite a bit as well, as we went up to the Nordkapp. So yeah, we actually managed to take our vehicles up to the Nordkapp, to the big statue that's there, basically saying this is the northernmost point of continental Europe, which it really isn't. Because, first of all, technically Nordkapp is on an island, so I don't know if that technically makes it the northernmost point of continental Europe. But even so, when you're standing on the Nordkapp and you look slightly to the west, you see a bit of land that just stretches out just a bit further than the point you're standing. The difference is, to get there you need to do about a 15-kilometer hike, and there's nothing there, whereas on the Nordkapp site itself, there's, you know, a big parking lot, you can get there by road, there's facilities and whatnot. So technically not the northernmost point, but it's close enough, let's say that. Yeah, basically from the Nordkapp it was not south all the way, because it was mostly going west for a large bit. And then to the next place, well, we ended up in a town where I could change my tires, which is why, as you may have seen, I'm taking it quite easy. Because the rear tire, that's perfect. That's the tire I wanted, because I had a set of Pirelli Scorpions on this bike. It's basically the tires the bike came with, which I was not ever really happy with. Same problem as on the previous Side Grade 100 I had. It also came with the Pirelli Scorpion tires, which I never really liked. So the place at Alta in Norway basically fitted me with a set of new Bridgestones. A Bridgestone Battle Wing on the rear, which was exactly what I wanted, because I have experience with that tire and I like it very much. It's not as durable, but it does offer a lot of grip, even in the wet. On the front, however, the only thing they had in stock was a trail wing, which is basically a trail tire with road capabilities, which is absolutely shit in the wet. Which means I am taking it very easy right now, because I don't want to understeer onto my face. Yeah. Anyway, we continued on from Alta, making our way west, going to Lofoten, which is basically an island group. It looks like a big peninsula that tears away from the Norwegian mainland. Around that point, before we went into Lofoten, we actually had some guys going into Finland again, because that was only like 30 kilometers away, to get beer, because when it comes to alcohol, Norway, well, actually all of the Fennoscandian countries, but as it appears, especially Norway, is a bit backwards, I think is the word. I don't know. The point is, in Norway it's not allowed to sell beer after 8 p.m. even though the stores may be open until 11, which is fantastic. I love that. It was the same in Sweden, it's the same in Finland. I love that. But alcohol sales have to stop at 8 in Norway, at 9 in Finland, and in Norway no alcohol may be sold on Sunday at all. Nothing. So since we were running out of alcohol and it was nearing 8 p.m. and the stores were about to close anyway, or the alcohol sales were about to stop anyway, we actually had someone that had the bright idea, like, let's just go into Finland, get beer there. And that was great. He loaded up the car with beer, as much as his bank account would allow, thinking this will hold us over for the weekend, but unfortunately we, went through it in about a day and a half, basically. It was all gone the day after, basically. So, and by that time it was Sunday and we had no more beer. So that sucked. At least we had beautiful scenery to look at. Yeah, we took a boat from Lofoten back to the mainland, to Bodø, I believe. Kept driving south. At some point we did come across basically an ice waste. It's like, you're driving along the main road and you're going through a national park, and it's like green and lush and temperature is bearable. It's good. It's about 18, 19 degrees, which is fine. And then all of a sudden you turn you come across a few corners, the green completely disappears and it just becomes like an ice desert. There's some ice in the distance. You can see that the mountains that you're driving in between are still covered in snow. And the temperature just drops like 5 or 10 degrees. And it is fucking cold. And then you see a sign, you are about to leave the Arctic Circle. Like, okay, that's nice. I wish it were warmer though. Yeah. We kept going south. We ended up in Trondheim at some point, at one of the guy's grandmother's place, who kindly allowed us to stay over there. About 14 or 15 people, so the house was quite full. Yeah. Then we went west again, basically, southwest, and drove along the Atlanterhavsveien, which is basically the Atlantic Road with the amazing bridge to nowhere. I'll see if I can get a picture of that. I took some pictures, so I should be able to fit that in right here. From there we ended up in Stranda, where some of the guys, or basically the Norwegian guy who planned most of the Norwegian part of the trip, found us a cabin, which was, to be fair, the most fantastic cabin we've ever seen. It was basically someone's winter hut that he rents out in the summer. And it was quite luxurious. I mean, this guy's summer place was more luxurious than many people's homes. It had everything. It was a washing machine, dryer, dishwasher. It had room for up to 21 people, I believe. There was a big sofa area, there was a big kitchen. It was absolutely amazing, and we were lucky enough to stay there for 2 whole days. Here, just checking if the camera's still recording. And we were there for 2 whole days, but the luxury was nice. But the best part was that we could just get out of the sauna, because yes, that place had a sauna. Walk out onto the deck and have the most amazing view. It was absolutely grand, and we were very, very sorry to have to leave that place, knowing that we could probably never return there, because none of us on our own can afford that place, or to rent it for a couple of days. So that was absolutely amazing, absolutely amazing. From there we went to, I don't know, basically in the direction of Oslo, across another ice wasteland. And we ended up at the Norwegian guy's father's summer place, basically, which was again a very, very nice place. But what was even nicer was that this guy was a man's man. And when we arrived, he'd already fired up the barbecue, prepared us an incredible meal. And basically we walk in the door. We were I and 2 other guys were the last to arrive, and we basically walk in the door. He looks at us like, "Have you had a beer yet?" I'm like, okay, we like the sound of this. And it's like he puts a beer in our hands. He has no opener at hand, a beer opener, a bottle opener at hand. And he just takes whatever's handy, like a lighter, a knife, doesn't matter. and just opens the beer with that. At one point, I look at him, when he's doing that, I look at him, I'm like, yes, you seem to have experience in these matters. And he just looks at me with a dead straight face and says, I have drunk a lot of beer. And smiles. And I was, yep, okay, well, yep, that makes sense. Yeah, he's a really, really nice guy. And that was basically the end of the trip, because the day after we got on a boat to Denmark, blasted our way through Denmark, and for me, the other guys went straight to the campsite in Kreuzberg, basically near the Nürburgring, whereas I went back to Hamburg, which was about 500 kilometers on the bike. I arrived there at a bit past 6, loaded up the bike on the car, and drove straight to the campsite. I didn't think I'd make it in one night, but I did. I arrived at the campsite at 1 in the morning, and the guys just put a beer in my hand before I'd even left the car. So that was great. Yeah, it was the adventure of a lifetime. I liked my Sweden trip last year very much. It was a really big adventure. It was an experience, but this was just slightly different. You know, because we were with 14 people instead of just the 2 of us, there's a lot more dynamic in the group. There's always someone to talk to about something else. It was an amazing experience, and right now we're planning to do another trip next year already, though I may not do it on the bike because they're planning a cheap car challenge, which could be interesting. But I don't see how anything we'll ever do from this point on will top what we did. If you look on the map where we've been, it's just incredible. The distance that we covered, the places that we've been. Yeah, I will cherish this experience for a very, very, very long time. Okay, well, this wasn't much of a quick update, as it was just a full-fledged update. I will say this: I did record a lot of footage, and I will try to get some of that footage out to you at some point. But I still have to do the Austrian footage as well, so yeah, I'm a bit behind in that respect. But what else? Oh yeah, on the way to the Nordkapp, I did record basically a vlog that I wanted to get up, but I never got around to it, and now it just feels out of place. Basically, it feels a bit lost. So I don't intend to upload that, except perhaps as a special. I don't know how many subs I've got right now. I think it's somewhere around 50, maybe over 50. But I'll make a deal with you guys. If I get to 100 subs in a reasonable amount of time, I mean not like next year or something, I will upload the vlog that I did. It's a bit... it's doing better slow down. I will upload the vlog that I did basically on the way to the Nordkapp, just because why not? Alright, well, it's been, I don't know, it must have been 20 minutes since I started recording now. So yeah, thank you for watching. I will get some footage out to you at some point in time. But thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.